amazing. It was one of the best plays that I've seen in my life, to be quite honest, compared to other plays I've seen.
Wow.
It had my attention. It was real, talking about real life issues, and we really enjoyed it. So first of all, we want to congratulate you for your success.
Well, thank you. I was happy to be a part of such a great ensemble cast, and Trey is such an amazing producer.
Definitely.
The direction was fantastic. The writing was great, and it was just a great experience to be a part of something like that, especially with young black males on stage. I've never had an experience like that, so that was really great.
That's good to hear. Now, the core as a whole, we have one little complaint about the play. What we didn't appreciate was the head tie matter. We all wear head ties to bed, especially when we first get our hair done. So that was the one complaint we had. But overall, it was
But I tell you what, like the men's complain about the head tie, but at the same time, they never complain about the nice hair.
Exactly.
So you gotta, it's give and take, because nobody wants to be looking at no nappy heads running around.
It's true.
So,
It's true. Now we're gonna get into your acting. You started your acting career at 6 years old in Sesame Street. What drew you to the acting field? Was it your family pushing you, or was it something that you wanted to do?
Actually, it was funny because I grew up in like a housing project out in Halifax in the black community out there, and like I had never even thought of doing, like, outside of like just dreaming about, you know what I mean, like whatever. Like I never really thought it was possible to really do stuff like that, or saw how I could do it, I should say. And then a friend of my mom's was a producer at CBC, and had helped us out with a few things before, and she was doing an episode of Sesame Street, and so she came in, said that she was looking for young people to possibly come out and do something, and she thought that I'd be good, and could I sing? And then so I went out and did my little song, and then I got another episode, and then from there I had a little bit of a run on Sesame Street. So that was really kind of opened my eyes to like it being like, when you're 6 or 7 years old and you get a check for $2,000, you feel like a millionaire,
Yeah.
So I was just like, I could do this, I could make this happen. And then also it was so much fun that it was just like, it just was a perfect storm for me. So that's kind of what piqued my interest, I'd say, in this business.
That's good to hear. Now, you mentioned that you grew up in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So, as a male visible minority, did you face any challenges or barriers to your acting career, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I can definitely say I faced a lot of barriers based on being a visible minority. I don't know if it's barriers so much as challenges. We're not as well represented as maybe I feel like we should be, based on the amount of talent that we have in our communities. And so a lot of times I think you feel, first of all, like just from a community aspect, like there's not a lot of information being brought down, so that people don't know that it's an option to go that route. And people feel like they can play sports, and then if that doesn't work out, then they just kind of make something out of nothing. So I was very blessed, to have that opportunity to just see that it's an opportunity. And also I think a barrier that comes across for people of our from the African Canadian background is that we have to compete against each other so much. It's like there's only one role, and and then there's 100 people that come out, and so then you feel like you're not brothers, you're not family, you're not a community, because you're at each other's throats for that little piece of the pie, And so I feel like that's why it's really important that we build our own projects, and that we are inclusive in making our own art, that can show what we want to show about our community. I've been very blessed to be a part of, a couple of projects like that, like Secrets, like the Kink, like Soul, which is a show that I was on Vision, which was a predominantly African Canadian cast and producing all by African Canadians, and so I just pray that I can see more things like that coming out in the future, and I want to be making things like that.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your successes. You've done a lot so far.
Much.
Now, you've been in plays like you mentioned, Secrets, and Umoja as well, and you've been on Street Sense, Soul, and the Kink. Do you have a favorite production to date that you've been a part of, and how has it helped you develop your growth as an actor?
Wow, a favorite production that I've been a part of. Let me think. I think, it's funny because it's like there's different stages that you go through. I can name a couple of projects that were very influential in getting me to the next place. Sesame Street was definitely one when I was really young.
Yeah.
But Street Sense was big for me because at that time I was at university, and I didn't really know where I was headed, and I was kind of like in between going the way of arts or going the way of sciences, and so that when I booked that as as a job, full-time career move, I was like, this is great. It gives me a lot of opportunities, and it opened a lot of doors. And I was in Halifax at the time, so there's not a lot of shows that get shot out there that are national. And so that was a big step. The Kink in my hair was kind of the same thing for me when I was in Toronto. It kind of opened up doors and got me out there and allowed me to really be like, okay, I can stick with this for a while. I'd say those were probably two of the bigger career-changing moments, and other things kind of came out of that.
Okay. Now, you have been very successful with a lot of your productions. We often ask this question to a lot of people we've interviewed, so I'm going to ask you the same question. If you could give up your career for one thing, what would it be?
Oh, you know what? There's a few things I'd give up my career for, because my career is my career and I love it. But there's things that I love more. I love my family. I love God. My girlfriend, who's soon to be my fiance.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And there's so many more important things than just your job and what you do. But I'm blessed to be doing something that I do enjoy doing, and being able to have some success with it as well. So.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay. Now I wanted to get into a couple of projects you're currently working on. We've heard that you recently wanted to begin a charity. So I just wanted to know if you could give us a little brief overview of that.
Well, I was kind of inspired by the mental health and addiction movement, the CAMH things that they do. I was recently at the CAMH fundraiser, actually. Karen Now was there and giving support, and George Strovanopoulos and Chantal Kreviechik. And it was a really great event to raise money by an art auction. But even before that, I knew people in the movement, and I felt like it was really important to speak out about it. And so that made me feel like, okay, I want to, how can I give back? How can I do that? And I thought that a charity would be a good idea, so I got some people that I know that are very active in the community. Wayne Mengeshi, my mother as well, I brought in as an elder to kind of facilitate just bringing her experience to it. And we're currently talking about forming a charity that's going to have something either to do with youth imprisonment in the youth jails that they have, or with mental health and addiction, people that suffer from mental health and addiction.
Okay, that's very good. Well, we'll keep you updated on theCOR's website with the progress with his charity. Now, just one final question. In terms of the future, are there any projects you're currently working on now or about to start?
I am, actually. I'm working on one show called Pure Ownage, which is going to be on Showcase. Probably, it's shooting now, so it should be out in about 6 to 7 months.
Okay.
And that's basically about a group of professional video game players. It's a comedy, so it's going to be fun. And I'm also in talks with Charles Officer about possibly playing some kind of role in his next movie, but that's not official yet. But hopefully that'll come through, because I've always wanted to work with him. I'm a very big fan of his work, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, well, good luck with that, and thank you for taking the time out to meet with us today. Thank you everyone for watching.